Hello, 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 everybody. Today, I got a bit of good news about another case that I follow. I am absolutely over the moon for, Joannie Goodwin and her family. So this is a picture of Joannie and Bobby. This is when Bobby was, he got old enough and he was very much fired up about, finding out what happened to his mom. And so this is a picture from a newspaper article where he was sitting next to a picture of his mom. So that's Joannie on the left there, for those who don't know who Joannie is. And that on the right is Bobby, her son, who was 7 months old when she was taken from him. Today, cold case with the Oxygen Network combined with the Osage County Sheriffs. Were able to issue a warrant, and an arrest was made today in the case of Joannie Goodwin. For those out there that might not know, Joannie, back in 1996, she was 19 years old. She had a baby, 7-month-old Bobby, and she was killed. And Bobby had to grow up without his mom and everything. And this case, I was introduced to it about 2 years ago, and I just always immediately felt for Bobby. That's rough. That's really rough. And so I ended up taking an interest. I even talked to a lot of Joanie's friends and found out kind of a lot about Joannie, a fair amount about Joannie. This here is Joannie and a couple of her friends at a place that they all call Gaylord's Game Room. Apparently Gaylord was a guy that had like this room that he had, I guess he had like a pool table in there, and I guess it was a place where, it's kind of just like a little game room, or I would almost maybe compare it to a community center, because a lot of the kids, a lot of the youth in that area would kind of spend time here at this game room. But anyway, here's Joannie with a couple of her friends. They're all Texas out there, but you can tell these three are thick as thieves. A lot of things I like. She's I know one of the things I like about her is that she's very, very fondly remembered, and maybe by some not so fondly, but I gotta say I like her spirit and her passion. But she was the one who, whenever any of her friends were getting messed with or anything like that, she was immediately the one to step up, and if it came to Dukes, it came to Dukes, which, she was a Lionheart. She was a total Lionheart. So, I dig that. I love that. Most people remember her with a lot of fondness, and they had very, very nice things to say about her. She was very well liked. It's great. She seemed like she was really, really a pretty, really cool person, well liked. And like I say, certainly Bobby deserved better than what happened. And so I've been interested in seeing justice for Joannie now for a couple years, and it looks like that may be coming. Now, of course, there's a court process that has to happen, hearings, and things have to be offered and answered and whatever, and this so everything has to kind of go through a process. But it looks pretty clear, and a fair amount, with some witness statements that have come out, and some new affidavits. They have kind of pieced together the storyline, essentially, of kind of how things happened. We all know that originally she was with two gentlemen in a truck that had a dead battery, and they ended up leaving and going somewhere that they nearby to go get some jumper cables or whatever, so that they could get the thing jumped and started and be able to get home. Joannie chose to stay with the car. When they returned, Joannie wasn't there anymore. So for a long time, that was kind of like the last known whereabouts of Joannie. But it looks like now, with some of the new witness statements, that the Osage County Sheriff's Office and like I said, Cold Justice. Cold Justice is the name of the show on the Oxygen Network. And they obviously went and dug up some more of the actual people that were around at the time and got some more witness statements. And it turns out that Cherry Terry, who is the person that was arrested, was seen with Joanie at a convenience store, and around 3 in the morning, and that it's basically believed that shortly after that is when Joanie was, murdered. She was wrapped up in electrical wire and left in basically a little river, and so there was really no evidence left and that's what made Joanie's case really so hard in a lot of ways. There was didn't have all the forensic evidence really that you would like or need, and so it took quite a long time and some very tenacious effort by the law enforcement there in that area. So kudos to them. I know that Joanie's family is over the moon. They are so happy to see that it's been getting investigated and that there's actually something significant that has emerged, that they are now able to make an arrest. So I mean, they've wanted to know what happened to Joanie for a long time, and it looks like they may now be on the verge of being able to find that out. Obviously we're gonna have to wait till see how things end up playing out in court, and what evidence comes out in court, and what all cold justice and the Osage County sheriffs kind of have found. I don't expect them to talk about everything, but it looks like in the article that I read about this, that it sounds like the affidavits of the witnesses were given to this newspaper, that this article, the newspaper that wrote this article I was reading. And so it looks like those might be kind of public domain and maybe findable. But yeah, they're playing, it looks like, a lot of other things closer to the vest. There's certain names that they don't want to say, and certain things like that. So obviously that's the way to do it, because they don't want any of their evidence or anything that compromised, so that when they go to court, it's all ready. It's not compromised by having been shared with the public or whatever, and potentially swaying public opinion, and everything like that. So it's better to steer clear of that. And so I don't hold it against them if they are playing some things close to the vest. That's the best. That's the right way to go, and it's the best way to seek a conviction, and make sure you get it right. So this is Joanie standing in what I would call the infamous wall of beer cans. It's when I was talking to people about Joanie and stuff, regarding the case and stuff. A lot of people remembered this wall, and they all thought it was cool, and it is kind of cool. It's it's got a lot of beer up there, a lot of different types, and I think I see some Stella right there. I love Stella. Anyway, but this is Joanie, and she's, like I say, she was a beautiful girl, had her whole life ahead of her. So I am, as I said, happy for Joanie's family. I know that her sister said she's been running around and jumping around and just over the moon, looking like a crazy person, as she put it. But I thought that was funny. But yeah, I mean, they're very, very happy now to see movement in the case of their beloved Joanie. So I also am happy for Bobby. I know this is something that he's been seeking now for many years. He has been wanting to know what happened, and wanting to know what happened to his mom. And so now that, I think, is finally emerging. But as I said, there's a whole court process that has to happen. So everybody, I think, it would help everybody if they just kind of enjoy the moment that there's movement in the case. But I wouldn't get too overboard. Just try to set the pace kind of low for now, because there's going to be a lot of ups and downs and court stuff, trust me, it's the ups and downs are crazy. So you just gotta kind of try to settle in and be a little bit patient, and at the same time try to, you know, take everything with a grain of salt. Now, this happens to be one of my favorite pictures of Joanie. I know it's a bad quality of picture, but I mean, I just think, first of all, I've spoken to the gentleman in the vehicle there. He's a really nice guy. He's a pretty cool guy. He was friends with Joanie, and he's a really cool dude. I enjoyed speaking with him. But you see Joanie here is kind of dressed up and everything, and you know they're out doing something on it. This is probably like a Friday or a Saturday, and they're all out looking for trouble or something, right? So, but anyways, with the movement in this case, I will probably be revisiting it in probably a couple months or so. Certainly, if once trial proceedings begin, if it gets to that point, you know, when it gets to that point, you know, when more of what has been, you know, accumulated by the cold justice and the Osage County Sheriff's Department, when that starts to emerge, obviously I'll come back to talk a little more about it. But yes, so anyways, the theme of tonight is, you know, I'm very, very happy for Joanie's family, and the fact that they are finally seeing some movement on her case. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you. And this is my favorite picture of Joanie. And the reason why is because you might notice somewhere down right there, she has impeccable taste. For those of you who don't know, I am a huge Dr. Pepper drinker. So, anyways, no, seriously, she has impeccable taste. No, anyway, this is my favorite picture of her, and no lie, it's because she's holding a Dr. Pepper. But also, it's just another picture of a vibrant young girl who was taken away too soon. Yeah, it's good to see that justice may be coming her way. It's a reassuring thought.